1 year after my divorce, I was sitting alone in a hospital waiting room when my sister found me. She smiled as if seeing me lonely made her happy. "So," Claire said loudly enough for our parents to hear, "your ex was smart to leave you." My mother looked down at the floor. My father pretended to read a poster about insurance. Neither of them said a word. I was waiting for a follow-up appointment. I wore no makeup and held a paper cup of coffee that had long gone cold. "My name is Marinellis." I was only 32, but I had already survived the kind of marriage people only whisper about. Claire stepped closer, her expensive perfume filling the air. "He has a son now," she said with a smug smile. "With the woman you called your best friend." A sharp pain spread through my chest, but I refused to let it show. I looked at my parents. They didn't defend me. They didn't even look surprised. "Dad," I smiled. "Is that what she told you?" Claire's confident smile faded. Before she could answer, the hospital's automatic doors slid open. My ex-husband, Nathan, walked inside carrying a baby in a car seat. The moment Claire noticed the hospital bracelet around the baby's tiny wrist, all the color disappeared from her face. Nathan froze when he saw all of us standing there. He tightened his grip on the carrier, then looked straight at me. For a few silent seconds, neither of us moved. Then he walked directly toward me. Not toward Claire. Not toward my parents. Toward me. "Sorry I'm late," he said quietly. Claire blinked in confusion. "Late?" Nathan ignored her. The baby shifted under a soft blue blanket. My mother looked completely confused. My father slowly lowered the brochure he had been pretending to read. Claire forced a nervous laugh. "Wait, what's going on?" Nathan finally looked at her. He didn't look guilty. He didn't look ashamed. He simply looked tired. "You should stop talking," he said calmly. Claire's confidence disappeared. As I watched her, I remembered the day my marriage ended. Everyone believed the same story. Nathan had left me for my best friend, Vanessa. Vanessa became pregnant. They started a new family while I was left behind. That story spread through our family like it was the absolute truth. I never corrected anyone. I never defended myself. Because the real truth was far uglier. And much more dangerous. Nathan glanced toward the elevators before looking back at me. "She's here," he said quietly. My stomach tightened. Vanessa had arrived. The elevator doors opened and she stepped into the lobby holding a thick folder against her chest. Claire immediately relaxed. To her, Vanessa had always been proof that I had been replaced. She believed Vanessa had stolen my husband and built a perfect life from the ruins of mine. But something was different. Vanessa wasn't smiling. She looked frightened. With every step she took, it became clearer. Her eyes were swollen from crying. Her shoulders were stiff. She walked like someone about to face judgment. My mother quickly stood. "Vanessa's sweetheart." "Please don't," Vanessa interrupted. Her quiet words filled the room with silence. Claire frowned. "What is happening?" No one answered. Nathan gently placed the baby's carrier beside my chair. That simple act of trust made Claire visibly uneasy. Vanessa stopped a few feet away. She stared at the floor for a long moment before finally looking into my eyes. The guilt in her expression was impossible to hide. 1 year earlier she had stood in my kitchen, crying so hard she could barely breathe. That night changed everything. It was the night that created every lie our family repeated for the next year. Claire folded her arms and looked around. "Will someone explain why everyone is acting like this?" Vanessa took a shaky breath and opened the folder she had been holding. Inside were documents I hadn't looked at since the day I signed them. They were the papers that destroyed my marriage, and revealed who had truly betrayed me. Before anyone could stop her, Claire grabbed one of the documents. She scanned the page once, then read it again. "What is this?" Vanessa's voice shook. "The fertility agreement." The waiting room fell silent. My mother looked confused. My father looked frightened for the first time that morning. Claire forced a laugh. "No, that's impossible." Nathan finally spoke. "A year ago, Vanessa couldn't have children naturally." Silence filled the room. I watched Claire's face as the truth slowly began to sink in. "We weren't having an affair," Nathan said. Claire turned to stare at me. I didn't look away. Vanessa swallowed hard. "Marin volunteered to be my surrogate." My mother covered her mouth in shock. The baby shifted inside the carrier, and Nathan gently adjusted the blanket with the ease of a loving father. A surrogate, my father whispered. Vanessa nodded, tears filling her eyes. Yes. Claire looked at me as if she were seeing me for the first time. The story she had believed was falling apart. But the truth was only beginning. The pregnancy had never destroyed my marriage. Nathan looked directly at Claire. Then he asked the question that made the room go cold. Do you remember logging into Marin's email account? Claire's face instantly lost what little color it had left. What are you talking about? Nathan stayed calm. The divorce started after I received emails from Marin's account. My mother frowned. Emails? Messages saying she wanted to end our marriage, Nathan explained. Later, I discovered she never wrote them. I watched Claire carefully. She already looked terrified. Vanessa pulled out another document. This is the hospital's IT report, she said quietly. After the divorce, Marin allowed investigators to examine every device. Claire slowly stepped backward. Why would anyone investigate emails? Because I never sent them, I answered. My voice stayed steady. And because someone made one very simple mistake. Claire swallowed hard. Nathan crossed his arms. Every login came from the same IP address. My father took a slow, shaky breath. Claire glanced toward the exit. No one moved. Vanessa lifted the final report. The IP address belongs to Claire's house. Claire stared at the evidence. You can't prove I sent those emails. Actually, we can, Nathan replied. He pulled out his phone and pressed play. Claire heard her own voice. The moment the recording started, panic filled her face. She lunged toward him. Turn that off. Nathan didn't move. Her recorded voice echoed through the waiting room. I only needed them apart long enough for Vanessa to get pregnant. After that, no one would question the divorce. My mother grabbed the chair beside her for support. My father looked sick. Months earlier, Claire had made that phone call, never realizing Vanessa had secretly recorded every conversation after becoming suspicious. The recording continued. You always cared more about Marin than me. I was tired of watching her be everyone's favorite. Those words hurt even more than her confession. Not because they were cruel, because they were true. Vanessa wiped away her tears. She manipulated all of us. Claire shook her head desperately. No, you don't understand. I understand perfectly, Nathan said. For the first time in a year, anger filled his voice. You destroyed my marriage. Claire pointed at Vanessa. She agreed to this. Vanessa looked heartbroken. I agreed to a surrogacy arrangement. I never agreed to lies. The baby let out a small cry, breaking the heavy silence. Claire looked around the room hoping someone would defend her. No one did. Then my father slowly stood. He looked older than I had ever seen him. Not simply tired. Broken. He stared at Claire for several long seconds before speaking. We believed you. His voice cracked. Those 3 words hit harder than any scream. Claire burst into tears. Dad. He raised a trembling hand, stopping her. When Marin told us those emails didn't sound like her, we ignored her. My mother began crying beside him. When Nathan tried to explain the truth, we refused to listen. He lowered his head. When our daughter lost her marriage, we believed the easiest story instead of the right one. Claire's shoulders shook. I never meant for this to happen. I almost laughed. Not because it was funny. Because it was unbelievable. One lie had destroyed a marriage. It had torn our family apart. And now, after all the damage, she claimed she never meant it. Nathan looked at me. For the first time in a long time, neither of us needed to say a single word. For the first time since our divorce, there was no anger between Nathan and me. There was no guilt. Only grief. The grief of 2 people whose lives had been stolen by someone else's lies. My father slowly turned toward me, tears filling his eyes. Marin, I don't expect you to forgive us. For the first time that day I believed him. Then Claire whispered something so quietly that only the people standing closest could hear. The moment the words left her mouth, Vanessa took a step back in shock. Claire had finally admitted the real reason behind everything. I was in love with Nathan. Her confession shattered the silence. No one moved. No one spoke. Claire covered her face and broke down in tears. Suddenly, every lie, every cruel act, and every moment of jealousy made sense. She hadn't destroyed my marriage for money. She hadn't done it for revenge. She destroyed it because she couldn't bear watching someone else have the life she wanted. Vanessa looked as if she might collapse. My mother slowly sank back into her chair. My father closed his eyes in pain. Nathan didn't say a word. There was nothing left to say. Still crying, Claire begged us to understand the feelings she had hidden for years. But hidden feelings don't erase the harm they cause. They may explain someone's actions. They never excuse them. A hospital announcement echoed through the hallway. Life continued around us. Nurses hurried past. Phones rang. Patients arrived. Others went home. The world didn't stop for our family's heartbreak. I looked at Nathan. Then I looked at the sleeping baby, whose very existence had been buried beneath a year of lies and misunderstanding. For the first time since my divorce, I felt the weight on my heart begin to lift. Not because everything had been fixed. Some wounds never fully heal. But because the truth was finally out in the open. My parents had to face the cost of believing the wrong person. Claire lost the family she had manipulated with her lies. And I finally walked away with something I thought I had lost forever. My life. My peace. And the truth that had finally set me free.